and I work very similarly. We are able to create, which is the word of the day, to create the space. You know, every time you do a scene, you got to create where are you when you say, my cousin Westmoreland. What's your first line?
Yeah, my cousin Westmoreland.
Who says?
What's the first line?
Who says so? My cousin Westmoreland, no, my fair cuz. If we are to
Who
walk-
says so? My cousin Westmoreland? Is that your first line?
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see that wishes so.
What's he that wishes so? That's it. What's he that wishes so? My cousin Westmoreland, right? Where are you? Out in a field with broadswords and armor. You know, where are you? Like establishing, creating where you are is such a integral component to your craft. If you don't know where you are, so for example, the art studio where God, I'm a huge fan of this. What's the painter's name? Rothko is doing his work. I mean, he was a very eccentric but a popular painter with a big, vast studio filled with these gigantic canvases and doing things with color, which is why it's called red. What does the studio look like? You know, where's the door? Where's the window? Where are the cans of paint? Where's the canvas? Where is everything? You've got to create where everything is. So it's this idea of creating, and part of the skill of being an actor is to create a context where other people can connect with you. And that's another thing I want to get into tonight is when you're working, you know, because too much of the work is dependent on the words. And I need to move out of the words and into the colors and into the people and into the textures. So that when you're doing a scene, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is often interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. Who the fuck is Caesar? Who is he to you? If it's just a word in a play, people have heard it for thousands of years. Caesar, Caesar, Caesar. It means render unto Caesar that which is Caesar. Render unto God that which is God. Right from the Bible. Doesn't mean anything. It's just a word. It's just a bland, general word. But he better be someone to you. He better be your best friend, or he better be your brother, or your son, or your mother, or your sister, or your aunt, or your uncle, or someone. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man, right? So unless you really have that person be somebody to you, you're just bullshitting the entire audience. It's just you know, faking your way through. And I'm telling you, and I'm about to open in a play a week from this Thursday, so I know what it feels like to try to fool an audience, and you can't. And you can't lie to them. The second you start to be untruthful, they go away, way. And then you might get them back. But no, you gotta lock into your truth and hold it there. And part of what keeps something truthful, class, and this is what I'm trying to teach you, is the use of these techniques. You know, a person, right? Who is the person in the scene? Not the person on the page in the words, but the person to you. What is the color? What color, you know, are you working with? What color? You know, I'm working in browns and grays and, you know, working man's clothes. because they get dirty easily, and I'm outside, so that's the color that I'm working with. And the other thing that we forget about frequently is texture. What does it feel like? Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I see thee not, yet I have thee still. What does that dagger feel like? What's the texture? Last night I saw, that great movie with Peter O'Toole, Lion in Winter. Katharine Hepburn, Anthony Hopkins, Timothy Dalton. Peter O'Toole's just, he's suffering so badly, as a character, Henry II, suffering, his sons, and, there's a guy that's putting so much color into what he does. There's nothing like a dream to create the future. Utopia today, flesh and blood tomorrow. Let me tell you something else. If you don't create a system of breaking a character down into objectives, actions, beats, circumstances, a person, colors, and textures, if you don't adopt a system, somebody else will. Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, you will what you imagine, and then you create what you will. Let me say that again. Imagination. You have to see it first. Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, you will what you imagine, and then you create what you will. Desire creates power. If you have a great deal of desire, consider yourself blessed. It's the people that have no desire that die like cold embers in the fire. You may say, well, I have too much desire. You can have anything you want if you want it desperately enough. You must want it with exuberance that erupts through the skin and joins the very energy that creates the universe. A strong, positive mental attitude will create more miracles than any drug, because you attract into your life what you are, what you think, what you believe, what you speak, what comes out of your mouth, how you communicate. Now, I know there are circumstances, terrible circumstances, that everybody in their lives have to engage in. We as parents sometimes have to engage in it with our children, with difficulties, with various obstacles, and these can be problematical and can cause one to be depressed or unhappy or just downright faithless. Must try to develop a strong positive mental attitude, because no matter how bad the circumstances are, whether you're behind in the mortgage or the rent, or whether your child is causing tremendous pain inside your soul and keeping you up at night, or whether your lover has left you for another person, or whether you can't get your visa to stay in the United States, or whatever, there's a million problems out there. And don't think any person that you interact with does not have them, because they do. No matter how they conduct themselves, they're suffering. You don't know what they're suffering from, particularly. You may be privy to it, you may not be. They may be putting up a mask that keeps all that out. On the very shoot that you were on, Joshua, that I recommended you for last week. We had a driver. The driver drove us to the set. He took it upon himself to have a few cocktails.
Oh, God.
Way too many cocktails. And, because shooting days are long. You're there at fucking 8 o'clock in the morning and makeup and hair, and then the camera finally starts rolling, and it's 9, 10 o'clock at night, and they're bringing pizza in going, we have to stay an extra 2 hours. And this particular person, whose name I won't mention because I happen to like him very much, he had way too much to drink, so it's time to go home. And he's supposed to drive me and the makeup girl and the line producer back to the hotel. And the first... No, he's just a driver. And the first AD has to step in and go, time fucking out. Time out, dude. You do not take my people in that fucking car. And it got very vitriolic for a moment there. Because you know how people are when they've been drinking and they want to, fuck you, you douchebag, I know what the fuck I'm doing, I know this area like the back of my... who knows why this person has had to, whatever, when they're working, that's not cool, but the point is that I wouldn't have wanted to be the first AD in that situation. Of course, I've had to be in that situation, not as a first AD, but as a director, to step in and go, no, man, that... You know what Screen Actors Guild would do if there was a car accident and we got killed? I mean, there are consequences. This is why I really am very anti-drug, anti-alcohol across the board. You want to be an artist, okay? Clean up. Wake up early and go for a run. Clear your head, exercise your body, get your mind focused. You want to be a plumber? Go get drunk. I don't care. It's not my toilet. You cannot acquire experience by making experiments. You can only acquire and create experience by undergoing it. Right? A lot of people think, oh, let me experiment, I'm going to experiment. No, you got to do it. There is only one admirable form of the imagination, and that is the imagination that is so intense, it creates a new reality. Nietzsche talks about, for a long time, it's like, what is truth? Discover the truth, discover the truth. And then finally he said, forget about discovering the truth, create the truth. You have the will and the power within you to create your truth. Learn the art of patience. Apply discipline to your thoughts. And when you become anxious over the outcome of a goal, Josh, impatience breeds anxiety, fear, discouragement, and failure. Let me read that again. Learn the art of patience. Apply discipline to your thoughts. When they become anxious over the outcome of a goal, impatience breeds anxiety, fear, discouragement, and failure. Patience creates confidence, decisiveness, and rational, objective thinking, which will ultimately lead you to success. You can't have control over the end game. You just simply can't. It isn't set up that way, no matter whether you're a fine artist like Rothko was, or a great musician like Beethoven was, or even if you're just, a journeyman actor, whatever your art form, whatever your chosen field is, your job is to do the work, to toil away at the work. What happens is people toil away at the work and they go, yeah, but how come I'm not on Broadway singing? I can sing just as well as. If you keep focused on the task in front of you and create with what you have and enjoy the pond that you are playing in, then perhaps another pond will open up. But the problem is that people just don't have the patience to be where they are. And so they can never create that next step. They just are in such a rush. I gotta get there. You know what I mean? It's like, I gotta get there. I don't have time. You don't understand. I'm really good. I can play the guitar, I can sing, I can do this, I can play the piano, I can play the drums, I can act, I can remember shape. Nothing to do with acting. I'm only talking about acting now. I mean, I happen to be a musician, a songwriter, and singer, but I can't teach that. I don't know enough about it to teach it and would never. I can teach acting because I know about that. And I also know, that as a young man, I was also very impatient. I couldn't wait to get to the public theater or wherever. And when they finally offered me a job, I couldn't take it because I was doing a movie, right? But, that obsession with how it turns out is your enemy. It's keeping focused on what's exactly in front of you. Right? If you drive across the country at night, you don't turn on headlights that can see from here to California, do you? You turn on headlights that are 10 feet in front of you. And you take it 10 feet or 10 yards at a time. And you inch your way across the country. Just like everybody else, piece by piece, inch by inch. And I believe that if you create a certain mindset, a certain positive mental attitude, you will attract the things and the people into your life that will help you have that future that you're seeking. But the best way to nullify that or cancel that out is to stop creating your own truth and to become impatient with the results. Well, you don't understand. I'm 22. I have to, if I don't do it by, I'm going to kill myself if I'm not famous by the time I'm 25. I was watching a film the other night. I love TCM, it's my favorite channel. It's all I watch. And there was a woman, a British actress whose name I can't remember, 74 years old. She did this movie VIP, and she played this very funny character, right? She was a British stage actress. And she won the Academy Award at 74 years old. I mean, imagine if you told that woman at 40, you're going to have to wait till you're 74 before, she would have probably been like, well, I can't do it. Unless she was who she appeared to be, which is somebody that just is completely focused on the craft, and that's all I can do is what's in front of me. I'm a worker and I do what's in front of me, and I create my truth. And don't let those outside circumstances overwhelm you. Don't let the lies and the cheating and the stealing and the, we all deal with it. I mean, we all deal with stuff, they put me a piece of a movie I was in a movie, The Lodge, right? A horror movie. They can't use that without paying me. They have no right to use a piece of a movie that I'm in without paying me. I was very upset. When I got on the phone and did the necessary things. But these days I don't get that upset. I just take care of business so that, the appropriate channels are made aware and so forth. But that was something, if you didn't tell me that night at the Academy Award part, I would never have known. They're using a piece of me. They're making a profit from me, from my work, from my already extant material. You can't do. They already make dolls out of me.
Do you get any royalty on that?
I get nothing.
Shit.
No, because back then when you signed a contract, it said they can use this material to exploit the characters that you create throughout the universe. That means if they do the Warriors on Mars, I just get rid of it. I get $33. What am I feeling? But what am I creating? People get consumed with how they feel, and how they feel sometimes dictates how they behave. Feelings are not facts. Your feelings are good on stage and perhaps in the bedroom. The rest of the time in life, I don't find them to be as useful. I think using your mind and the power of your mind, everything is in your mind. This is a great class. This is a terrible class. This is a good actor. This is a terrible actor. This was a nice person. This was a great experience. This was a terrible experience. It's all in your mind. That was Pam Grier. That was a great experience for me. Everything is in the mind. The mind creates, distorts, alters, and recreates. It's all the power of your mind. Forget how you're feeling. Forget your external circumstances. And how fucking bad can they be? Go get trapped on a cruise ship where you can't get out because everyone has coronavirus. Go to fucking northwestern Syria where children are pictured frozen to death.
Yep.
This is a problem that it's hard to create your way out of. Being an actor, creating a life as an artist, is nothing by comparison. Use your suffering if you're suffering. Use your joy if you're feeling joyful. Use these two extremes to create. To create. To create is the opposite of to destroy. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.